Hey everybody, welcome to Game Off Podcast number 29. I'm your host, Andrew, aka Solitalker, with my co-host here,
Brent, aka Arcadia.
We got a great lineup of games today, two of them to be exact. Totally Reliable Delivery Service and Doom Eternal. We're also going to be having our Fireside chat about something, and we're also going to talk about games we've been playing, because there's still no news, because the world's shut down.
Yeah, the world ended, so it's not really a surprise, so hope you guys like hearing about Persona.
So, that's going to be your news, your what you're playing, Fireside chat's going to be, hey Brent, how's Persona going?
News, Persona's great. Game I'm playing, still Persona, after 3 weeks.
20 minutes of how Totally Reliable Delivery Service reminds you of Persona.
I wish it did. No spoilers.
So, what have you been playing lately?
Persona! And Dota, and mostly Persona. I've gotten like almost 100 hours in that game. Well, I guess I should qualify it. It's Persona 5 Royal. It's the re-release of Persona 5 that came out on April 1st, 2020. It's quite fucking good. There's a lot to it. I could easily do a showcase on it if it qualified, but unfortunately it's just a super version of a game that already came out. But yeah, God, I play it all night long. It's got great anime girls. It's got dungeons. It's got Pokemon, but uglier. I don't know how else to sell it. You gotta play this game, boys.
Is this the second time you're going through? Because you'd played through Persona 5 on its own, right?
Well, funny story. I've managed to like fuck up my playthrough the first time in Persona 5 and the first palace. So I really only got like 10 hours into it. And I never got around to it. I was sort of, after a while, I had put it off, and then the PlayStation Plus came out, or PS4 Pro, sorry. And I was like, well, I assume they're going to patch this game, because it's one of the most popular games on the console. And they never did. And then eventually they announced this version, and I just waited for this.
Okay, that's all in all a fairly sensible approach.
Yeah, I guess so. What have you been playing, Andy?
I've been jumping back and forth between a little game you may have heard of called Downwell, which definitely isn't a game I'm still playing 5 years later.
Yeah, you got that it just came out on Switch, is that right?
It was just on sale on Switch for $1.50, and I got an embarrassing amount of time in Downwell on PC. I want to say it was something like 70 hours.
What? I played this game.
PC.
Where? How?
I'm so bad at it. Is the thing?
Oh, okay.
I'm just so bad at it. But also, I really like it. Yeah, I still haven't actually beaten it, the boss, or
God.
unlocked New Game Plus. So I'm really bad at this game, but I really like it. So I put it that, and I probably put easily another 15 hours on Switch. Because I've got the flip controller, so I can play it in portrait mode, and that's just great.
Can you just describe that for people if they've never seen one of the flip controllers? Because it was one of the first times I'd seen it when you showed it to me the other day.
So it's if you kind of imagine like you stood your Switch up in portrait mode, on its side, and then you found a way to just attach the Joy-Cons to the bottom of it, so you could hold it almost like a Switch where the screen was put in at a 90-degree angle. And it's just, it's pointed straight up, and you got things on the side, and you can play. There's some games, the only ones I know of are Downwell and some shmups like Ikaruga that got ported over that are playable in portrait mode. There aren't a ton of games that I think that make sense to play in that mode that aren't old arcade games or shmups, so I don't know how many else are out there. I have it exclusively for Downwell, so as far as very... add that to my list of peripherals that I owned for just one game, like the Arkanoid controller for the NES. Just put that in that bucket. And I've also been playing a game called Hypercharge Unboxed.
I've not even heard of this.
It's an early access. I think it's going live full version next week. So this will actually probably be out by the time it's out. It's on Steam, and I think it's getting ported to Switch. It is like a first-person tower defense, but It's like first-person tower defense meets Small Soldiers. Remember Small Soldiers?
The movie?
The movie, yeah. Everyone's
Yeah,
favorite.
oh, yeah.
Everyone's favorite movie about toys that come to life.
Course.
Small Soldiers.
No, I thought Indians in the Cupboard was.
Indian in the Cupboard, right?
Indian
yes.
in the Cupboard.
I'm sorry. Violent toys that come to life. Small Soldiers.
Okay.
The idea is you're protect. It's a standard first-person FPS or first-person tower defense where you're protecting the little node and waves come in and try to attack it. You build defenses and walls and turrets and all that. But it's set in the almost like the old levels that you'd play in Counter-Strike or Quake or Unreal of like a huge bedroom and you're 4 inches tall. So they're set like in an aisle of a toy store and you're jumping multiple times to get onto the shelves to climb up on top of displays to pick up weapons and pickups. Or you're in like the bathroom and one of the nodes that you're protecting is in the bathtub, the other is on top of the sink, the other is on top of the toilet. And you're effectively 4 inches tall.
That's pretty cool.
Everything that's coming in to fight you is also like other little robot things, fucking Beyblades.
Beyblades.
Like literally just Beyblades, and they explode like Beyblades do, where it's all in the ring and the outer ring and everything pop out.
Oh.
And all the defenses you build are made out of Lego, or they look like little Nerf turrets.
Can you use like tubes of pogs as walls?
So far, and I've only probably put about 4 hours into it. So far, I've seen little snap-together castle walls, which I think were like a Fisher-Price toy, Legos, little Nerf turrets.
Are any of these licensed?
No, but they're
That'd be wild.
extremely similar. And they've done a very good job. Like the level of detail that they've put into these things, where you're in the toy store and it's not 4 different modeled toy boxes that are over and over again. There's like 20 or 30 different toy boxes modeled in the store, with full packaging and everything to look like toys did. And at the time, it's a lot of fun. I would recommend it. I think it's a team of 5 guys that made it. They made it. You may have seen their previous thing. It was like a first-person arcade experience, like actually walking around an arcade as a front end for emulators in VR.
Dope. Oh, that'd just be like a cool programming exercise, actually. Huh.
And I think that's what it started off as. But you can buy it on Steam and just set up all your emulators, and then you set up all the cabinets in your virtual arcade so you can walk up to them and play them.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, really neat idea. So got some guys with good ideas. So I definitely recommend that. Hypercharge Unboxed.
That theme of tiny shrunken things is sort of making a resurgence. That Obsidian's new game, Grounded, is a lot like that. I think it's probably a more outdoors experience, and I think it's more survival. I don't know too much about that, but it's basically like tiny people running through the outdoors, trying not to get killed by ants, from what I could tell, like in the movie Ants.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking... in my mind, I went right to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah.
And if there's gonna be another piece of entertainment that makes me cry over the death of an ant, I'm not here for it. I can't do it again.
I wasn't gonna say that movie because Rick Moranis has sued me like 8 times, but yes, that's what I was thinking about too. Yeah, the game sounds funny. I'm gonna put you on the spot. Are you considering doing it for a showcase in future?
Probably not.
Right.
I don't think there's enough to it, because it is just a first-person tower defense. Otherwise, like it's very visually interesting as far as the setting and all the other stuff. But I don't know what else more I'd say about it. Like, it's a really cool game. Go check it out. That's it.
Yeah, well, check out both of the games we just said. Persona, if you have 120 hours lying around, and the Toy Box game. Well, shit, I already forgot what it was called.
Hypercharge Unboxed, I think.
Hypercharge Unboxed.
It's. I'll admit, it's not the best name. It's not my favorite.
Not remember that name.
No.
Write it down immediately after hearing it.
It's Hypercharge Unboxed for everyone out there. Hypercharge : Unboxed. Is it time for a fireside chat? Are we by the fire?
All right. Well, it feels like it. I am in Texas, so the earth is on fire. Hey, Andy.
Hey, what?
Favorite gross food combo? Something you love that everyone gives you crazy eyes for eating.
Okay. So I know there's a lot of people who really hate mixing ketchup and mayonnaise, but I don't think that's so mild of a gross food combo.
Hmm.
Like I've known people who thought it was disgusting. I really like one of my favorite things that I used to eat growing up a lot was what my dad would call tuna noodle, and effectively
Huh?
it's effectively hot tuna salad mixed with egg noodles.
How did it get hot?
That's just the way he made it. It's you make a batch of egg noodles, and
What do
then
you mean? What do you mean he made the tuna hot? Did he just stir it so much that like just energy expounded into it?
he had a heated mixing bowl, and he just put the tuna salad in there.
What the
No,
fuck?
he'd make a big batch of noodles, like of egg noodles, and then he'd take a couple cans of tuna, and mix in some salt and some pepper, some mayonnaise, some red wine vinegar, and a little bit of Parmesan cheese, and then just mix that in with the hot egg noodles.
Huh.
So it's effectively like a hot tuna salad, a very lacking tuna salad. There's no celery, there's nothing else in there,
Yeah.
and it's mixed with noodles.
I guess like tuna helper was a thing. It's not like completely different from that, but
No.
it doesn't sound appetizing.
Yeah, I've not found anyone else who likes it. I've tried making it for people. My wife didn't like it. My son didn't even. He wouldn't try it. I tried. He had like a little little kids like touch it to the tip of their tongue.
Yeah, like kiss it and like,
Yeah, no, this is yuck. Like, yeah,
why did you poison me, Dad? I trusted you.
Can I have my peanut butter and fluff, please? The other one I have that I've heard people not like is on top of pancakes. I put sour cream and hot blueberries.
I mean, is sour cream bad on anything? It sounds weird, but
but it's also like it's fine. Like, because people put sour cream on everything.
yeah,
It's not like it's got a really offensive taste, and
right.
when it mixes with the warm syrup and everything, it's so I can't really think of any other. Here, you tell me your gross food combos, and maybe it'll inspire me.
I can't think of many either. I get a lot of flack for just liking anchovies. So every time we get pizza, everyone's like, "You eat those?" And people call them like hairy eyebrow meats and all these different things. But anchovy mushroom garlic pizza is one of the most refined things you can eat on this earth.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I'm telling you. Other than that, I don't know. I used to eat hot sauce sandwiches a lot, which is just bread and hot sauce.
Okay.
That might have been more because I was poor. It's
Yeah,
hard to say.
That's a tough one to just. I think back to kids I knew who would eat like a butter sandwich for lunch, and as a kid I thought that was gross. But looking back on it,
they were wearing like a Ziploc bag for a shoe, and you're like, oh, okay.
There's a joke in an episode of King of the Hill where Bobby says that the school's not allowed to do superlatives in the yearbook anymore because last year's worst dress just ended up being poor. And so not like that joke, when I first heard it, it broke my ability to judge people in that way, because like, oh no, that he could just have horrible taste in sandwiches, or
the more likely scenario.
This is the best sandwich he's got. And that's fine. Yeah, I'm not going to judge. I did hear in a Discord for another podcast, one that I'm not on, but participated in. Someone said that they dipped their Fritos into applesauce.
Huh.
That one's
Fritos
pushing
are
it for
strong
me.
flavor.
They are. They're like somehow the most corn of corn chips.
Yeah, right. It's like eating corn.
I don't know how they're more
stronger.
They're more corn than like corn tortilla chips. I don't get it.
Jesus. What is the applesauce doing to it's just, you just want to eat Fritos, but you also want to get nutrition?
Yeah, I guess.
If you can call applesauce nutritional?
And then I was thinking, like, is it chunky applesauce? Is it sweetened? Is it apple cinnamon? There was too much.
The cinnamon would be awful. Like, it's so salty and corny. You add cinnamon to that mixture? Yuck. That's actually the one I'm angry about, and it's not even either of ours.
No, it's just a thing I heard about someone claiming they did. They could have just making it up. I'm trying to think if I know anyone else who has really weird, disgusting food combinations.
God,
I can't think of anything.
Yeah, I guess we come from a fairly fine stock of people. Where they're not like drinking relish and all this nonsense.
I dated a girl in college whose roommate ate ranch dressing.
Oh.
Yeah.
What do you mean, like with a spoon?
Just with a spoon.
In a bowl or right out of the jar?
Just in a bowl. Just would
squirt it out of the jar.
Squirt a bit of Hidden Valley into a bowl, room temp, and just ate it with a spoon.
So the process that bothers me there is like you feel dignified enough to take it out of the container of ranch, like and put it into a like receptacle instead of just drizzling it directly into your mouth at that point because you're disgusting garbage.
Exactly. There's
just
something
lean
there.
into it.
There's something about the fact that you're having it as a prepared meal that makes it worse. Because if you were just I've been in that spot where you walk past the fridge and you're like, I just want to taste that. I want to have that flavor in my mouth, not ranch, but other things. And you're like, okay, like as a kid, I would eat spoonfuls of Ovaltine, just a spoonful of dry Ovaltine. That's gross.
All right,
but.
Yeah.
I think it would have been different if I had actually sat down and scooped myself a bowl of dry Ovaltine, brought it over to the couch, turned the TV on, and just ate spoonfuls of dry Ovaltine.
Yeah, it's like a whole other planet from like a sneaky squirt or something.
Don't say sneaky. Edit out sneaky squirt. Edit that out.
A diabolical squirty. I used to really like just drinking straight from those like little fresh lemon and lime bottles that look like lemons and limes. And
really?
Then, I don't know why.
That's an interesting one.
My teeth started hurting a lot after a while, and then, and 15 years later, I found out it's terrible for your enamel. But by that point, I'd stopped.
You're drinking basically pure citric acid.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't do me any favors.
I used to, as a kid, eat. I liked eating Oreos, but not the cookies. I would take.
What?
My mom had one of those like slap chop type things for chopping garlic or onions, and I'd put Oreos in it, and then I would chop up into basically like Oreos you'd put on ice cream, and then eat that with a spoon.
All right. So
I don't know why. That was just what 8-year-old Andy thought was a good idea.
You do really like cereal. Maybe it was just like like I can't eat cookies, but cereal's okay.
At the time, I hadn't processed the idea of cookies for breakfast as in Cookie Crisp. That was not an option for me at the time because I wasn't allowed sweet cereals.
Oh god. Well, that explains a lot.
Yeah, it does. There's actually a lot there. There's a lot to unpack that we don't have time for.
Yeah. Catch therapy off next week. Oh god.
You want to tell us about your game? Your totally reliable delivery service. Did I get it right? Was that it?
Yeah, totally reliable delivery service, which I mixed up frequently with totally accurate battle simulator.
Oh yeah.
So fucking close in name. This is the only game that I've had time to play that wasn't Persona and Dota. So I spent probably about 3 hours playing this game. There's not much to it. I think an easy comparison is definitely Goat Simulator. You get dumped into an open world. You get objectives.
No, actually, just to cut you off there, because I want to clarify. When you say it's like Goat Simulator, are you saying that with all the baggage that Goat Simulator has? Or just mechanically?
Well, getting straight to the point, maybe
I don't want to rush you there.
More baggage than Goat Simulator. I think it's not like as fun and charming as Goat Simulator is, because like it finds fun in unique ways. This game is like the same formula sort of over and over again in the whole janky physics open world, but it's got it didn't really launch well, in my opinion. I couldn't find a lot of fun. But yeah,
Okay,
that's.
and yeah, not
Go
to
ahead.
completely derail you there.
So yeah, I'll I'll frame it a little bit more, but then I'll give you my opinion. You've pretty much heard most of it at this point. But yeah, you get dumped off. There's vehicles. Your objectives are literally to make deliveries. So you have these like delivery machines that you pull on. I played it with a controller, so that means like both the triggers were both of your arms, and both of the bumpers were to raise your arms. And other than that, there's really no other controls. You can sprint and jump, and that's it. But in while keeping Goat Simulator, which I think a lot of people have played at this point, as a frame of reference, it's very much the leans into the janky physics aspect of some popular games these days. So a lot of times you're picking up a package and you can't pick it up quite right, and suddenly it's like behind you, and then you have to drop it and turn around, and then you have to pick it up and try and put it perfectly into a vehicle because you can't walk it over to the delivery spot on time. Um, in Goat Simulator, you can get away with a lot of like the more frustrating parts of it because it's not like timed objectives, or you don't have to use other objects for the most part. You're just like, sticking your tongue on things and pulling things around and stupid shit like that. In this, there's like an annoying amount of precision that's required. Like you have to pilot helicopters and boats, and before that you have to get the items into the helicopters and the boats and
Ew.
all these other things. The charm wears thin very quickly. I will stop being negative for a minute and say that like there could be a really enjoyable game within this game if they sort of strip back a lot of what makes it frustrating, because I think they thought a lot of what makes it frustrating would be funnier, or one of these things you pretty much have to play with other people or is made for Twitch streaming. And it may have legs on Twitch, but I don't think they're very long legs. Like I guarantee people are still streaming Goat Simulator these days.
So I'm guessing that it sounds like this is part of that wave of games like Goat Simulator, Overcooked, that Surgery one, of where
Oh yeah, like Heart Surgeon.
yeah, where the part of the gameplay is just that its input is difficult and
Yes,
inaccurate.
yeah. This reminded me in difficulty. It reminded me of Manual Samuel.
Manual Samuel, I forgot about that.
Yeah, where you have to control like literally every aspect of the dude, and if like it just wasn't fun. Like I don't know how else to describe it. Like you get in and you're like, oh, this sounds like quirky and hilarious, and then you try and do things and you're like, this is taking way too long. I'm gonna do something else. That's more along the lines of how I felt in this case.
Did you play Octodad or Human Fall Flat?
Yes, I played Octodad, not Human Fall Flat. Octodad, I got behind for like a little bit, and then I was like, it's not for me. But like, I can see how people enjoy that game because there's like a somewhat curated experience in that.
Right, that's true.
In this, it's much more open world. Like here's the vehicle you have to use if you want to get there within the time frame. Here's like the weirdly shaped package, and if you can't get it into the boat like on your first try, and the boat doesn't even have like a cargo bay or anything, then you're fucked, and like the whole challenge resets and the boat despawns and you fall into the water and you die. It's like shit like that.
Oh, it sounds like fun. How would you compare the package delivery mechanics in this and just the general feel of package delivery to another game with, I've heard, some wonky movement physics in package delivery, Death Stranding?
One of the things I did say felt good about Death Stranding is like the physics, like they always made sense. Sometimes they were a pain in the ass, and sometimes like they were artificially stupid, but it always like kind of felt good to be able to balance like all of these packages on your back and like be able to navigate up a cliffside with all the shit on. And in this game, I was satisfied to be done with the challenge, which is like just, I think, something all humans have inside them. Like, hey, I finished it. Hey, I got a gold medal. Like, nice.
Right.
That was the only thing that was driving me in this game. Nothing was driving me in Death Stranding, to be fair. I just wanted to get the packages delivered and see what the fuck the story held afterwards. But in this, it was like way more base, and nothing kept me going after I had like explored the whole map.
So if I'm looking for a game to emulate the feeling of delivering packages in an enjoyable way, you're saying Death Stranding is the better way for me to go between the two games.
You're backing me into a corner here. There must be a better way. Must be.
I'm trying to get you to compare this to Death Stranding and make an either or. If I only could buy one, I couldn't afford both, which would be the obvious, resolution if I could get it. But if I could only afford one, do I want Death Stranding or Totally Accurate Delivery Simulator?
If you're so adamant about throwing your money away, I would say buy Totally Reliable Delivery Service because it's much cheaper, and then you still have $45 left over to fuck off and buy Pizza Hut.
Because Death Stranding's never going down in price. That's one of those games that's going to be $60 until PS7.
Yeah, it's more of the Japanese business model, but it's very frustrating. Yeah, fucking Mario Galaxy is still $60.
Galaxy?
Yeah.
Odyssey?
Galaxy. I saw Galaxy.
What are you talking about? It's about
I saw Galaxy at Best Buy for $60, like before the quarantine. I was like,
How is that still on sale?
I was surprised they still had Wii games, honestly, but yeah.
To be fair, I think I sent you a picture of this. The last time I was in a Best Buy, they still had a PS Go display and a PSP display. And there was like two things on the shelf.
Oh.
It was so sad.
Who's running that place?
Yeah, I was expecting to turn a corner and find like an Ouya on the floor. It was just... Come on, guys.
God.
Get it together.
That's rich. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I've forgotten now.
Now, when you were talking about this initially, you kept saying this game, and I kept confusing it with that game that Nintendo just made, where you clean a building.
Luigi's Mansion?
No, it's another, like, you go around. It almost looks like those little experiment designs from the Portal games, where you're one of the little people running around in kind of an isometric view.
I don't think I know this game. Nintendo Labo?
No, it's Serial Cleaner. Nope.
Oh,
wait, that's not it.
Wait, no, that's been out for a while.
Yeah. Well, what the hell am I talking about then? I have no idea. I have no idea what game I'm confusing this with anymore. Office cleaning game. Come on, somebody help me out here. Oh, Good Job is what it's called.
Good Job. I haven't heard of it at all. So it's isometric?
It's a Nintendo published game.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Who's the developer?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
They sure are.
Good job, them.
Here's what I'm going to ask people. This is, and I'm about to make a really good suggestion because it starts with a I would really appreciate it if companies would just kind of standardize on some post-game name alphanumeric code, so that when you name your game something like Good Job, or you name a movie like when you name something just a thing that's common parlance, I can still find what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So like Good Job, and then in parentheses like D-186. Or oh, okay, that I can find.
Not just the game.
Okay, look, Copernicus, I don't have time to be typing all this stuff.
Yeah.
Anyways, I kept confusing this game with Good Job, which I heard was also fun. That's the long and short of what I was getting at here. Not at all important. Back to your thing. It's open. It's open world. Is it like a linear mission based thing? Like, are you just making random decisions about where to go and what to deliver? How does that actually play out?
Completely random. You find a box, and sometimes it tells you if you've set a record on it, and sometimes it doesn't. So sometimes you just have to do the same mission over again.
Nice.
But yeah, literally, I would deliver a package, and then I would take a turn, and then there would be another box, and I'd be like, guess I'm doing this one, unless there was a helipad there, and I'm like, I'd rather eat shit right now than get in that helicopter with, a gas barrel or whatever the fuck they gave me.
I'm going to be honest with you. This doesn't sound like the best game, as you've described it.
I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it to you. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Maybe my 10-year-old stepbrother. He might enjoy it for a few hours. He might have a good cackle with his friends. My sense of humor may have evolved a little bit beyond the really, really janky, haha, there were some mechanics, like the jump mechanic itself seemed inherently broken. Like, I'm pretty sure it's just doing math on which direction you're facing. So if you're near another surface and sideways, you will just jump sideways. And that caused me so much grief. There were like 3 times where I just launched off of the side of like a car and like straight into the fucking ocean. I was like, what is happening? Like, that the first time that happens, you laugh. And then after that, you're like, this is too janky.
This sounds like an aggressively the game doesn't want you to enjoy it, which I guess is that balance that they're trying to hit with these kind of input is intentionally bad games.
Yeah. Oh, the camera. The camera, every time I would get into a helicopter, for some reason, would zoom straight up my ass, so I couldn't see anything. So I'd have to reset the camera location. I felt like I was bug testing this game. Like, that was a big problem.
Was this well received? Did people like this?
I don't know. I heard a decent amount of hullabaloo about it. Like, it got mentioned a bit in social media and stuff, so that's why I ended up playing it. But I didn't really read any of the reviews.
Okay. Because, yeah, I only heard that it came out, and I assumed it was another game like this, or that one where you in a goat or in a shopping cart.
Oh, Supermarket Shriek.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the same type of game. Like, it's funny for a minute, and then you just get frustrated by how bad the mechanics are.
Yeah. I tried to play Supermarket Shriek with a couple of people, and it just...
It probably helps to have a second person. If you're playing that single player like I did, it's just a nightmare.
And the thing was, it wasn't like... I think you're right. I think that this is for a certain type of person and a certain age group or mentality wallet as a group, and I don't mean that in like an insulting way. Just
no.
Just that mentality of like, we want to have stupid fun right now. We want to stupid laugh at things. And I just wasn't there with that, and I'm guessing that you were not there with this.
Yeah, no, like, I was in the mood for this type of game when I played it. Like, I didn't begrudgingly boot this game up or anything. I was like, I want something light and stupid. Like, just, like, stop playing Persona, play this for a little bit, go to play Dota. Like, this is a nice little Oreo cream filling, but it turned out to be, rock-flavored Oreos.
I don't think I've seen that one on shelves yet.
Well... down to Texas.
That may be one of those pandemic special flavors.
There's...
What do you got?
I was gonna say there's day 1 DLC in this too. I went into the store to confirm that the release date was the same as the game, and it sure was.
Is it good DLC?
Oh, I didn't buy it. Are you fucking crazy?
I mean, but like, is it like cart armor DLC, or is it, what is it?
It's like entire sections of the map, like islands in this area. So you're primarily on like one big hunk of island, and there's like one smaller island as part of it. But then there's like these 2 massive offshore islands that you just can't go to unless you buy this day 1 DLC. It's not that expensive, but it's still fucking gross.
Yeah, no, that's a ballsy move that I can't get behind.
Yeah. Like, the game wasn't free. It was like $15, I'm pretty sure. So it's, if it was free and then you're trying to bundle in like big DLCs, like, I get it. That's a business model.
Sure.
to sell this game for $5 more, include the fucking DLC. Stop being fucking monsters. Jesus Christ.
You guys are gaming history's greatest monster, and I hope you know that.
You're the monster now, dog. It also felt like one of the things I couldn't help but compare it to Goat Simulator a lot, because I like Goat Simulator, and every time while I was playing this, I was like, oh, I wish this was Goat Simulator 2 or something. But it felt like completely devoid of life. Like there were some NPCs around, but like you can't interact with them in any way. And if you walk up to them, they're always like assholes. They're just like, get away from me. So it's like, okay, glad you were included in the game.
Way to make you feel wanted and loved and appreciated in that world.
I mean, I don't need to be wanted or loved or anything. I just don't want to be yelled at by NPCs who don't offer me anything. Like, you can emotionally abuse me if you're going to give me a reward at the end of the day. That's fine. That's how most relationships work.
I'm going to hold you to that.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold you to that exact segment, that exact statement.
Yeah. That's all the quick hits I have for the game. Do you have any more questions?
No, I think that kind of covers it. It unfortunately confirms what I suspected about the game, which is a bit disappointing. I was hoping that you were going to say that it was actually like a fun Goat Simulator-esque game.
Oh, fuck. That's what I wanted, man. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I wanted to play Goat Simulator in that moment, and this game was close enough where I could justify starting up a whole new game and learning. You know, sometimes you don't want to learn anything when you play games. Like, you just want to get into it.
Oh, I get
and
that.
Just
I understand that entirely.
Yeah. So I was like, this is it, man. There's going to be 3 buttons, 4 buttons. I'm going to be good to go. But it ended up being just too frustrating to enjoy.
No, that made me sad.
Shall we transition rapidly into Doom Eternal?
Sure. I loved Doom 2016. I want to come in and I feel like everything I've done in the last 15 episodes, I've had to preface things so that people understand the context that I'm coming things at, so they're not jumping at me. Oh, you fucking scrub, don't know how to play games.
People do say that to you.
Yeah, they do. And I don't
that was
even
before
know
the
them.
podcast.
I'm just like at ShopRite, and I'm just going to buy something. Like, oh, you fucking scrub, get out of here. You don't even know how to bake bread. Fucking get good at baking bread. I'm trying to get good at baking bread, so I'm buying flour.
Still let your mom talk to you like that?
I know. I don't know. She keeps following me around grocery stores. Shit. I like Doom 2016. I played it front to back. It was a lot of fun. I actually started a second playthrough. Didn't finish it because who has the time? But I played that end to end. I had a really good time with that. It was fun. It was fast paced. It was challenging, but in a good way. It was visceral. I would have given that a solid A. Great game. I got Doom Eternal like the day it came out because there was so much. I think unlike Doom 2016, where Bethesda tried to hide it under the carpet and like no one can talk about this game before it comes out, even though it was perfectly fine. They were like, oh yeah, we didn't need to do that because we were selling a perfectly competent game that wasn't broken to shit. So like just and so this
one of few these days.
Yeah. Yeah. So I bought Doom Eternal the day it came out. I've been playing it since then. I got the requisite number of hours in there. Fill it in with whatever you think it's appropriate. It's like a B. It's a B. It's a B game. It's a B game. It's like a B, maybe like 85, 86. And that disappointed me because I heard a lot of people saying like, "Oh, it's just Doom 2016, but more and better." Did you play the new Doom before I keep going? Have you played it?
I have not. I've played 80% of the original.
Okay.
So I have a good context for what you'll be talking about.
Perfect. It is Doom 2016, but with more, and they've added a lot of good things. Doom, for those of you who have just been born, is a first-person shooter in a long line of first-person shooters that are all about shooting demons, usually in space, sometimes in hell, sometimes on Earth, sometimes on Mars. You are the Doomslayer. You live to kill demons. The demons don't like being killed. This is where the conflict arises. You shoot them with guns.
Universal truths.
Yeah, this is just the way that the world has been, as it was, as it always shall be. You go through in Doom 2016, you were in space, you were in Mars, you were on Earth, you killed demons, you went in hell, you killed more demons. This, same deal. There was a lot of good and a lot of interesting gameplay in Doom 2016 with the way that you got health and ammo was by doing these kind of quick takedown moves on staggered enemies. So it created this kind of flow of battle where you were attacking guys and attacking these larger, Mancubus, Cacodemon style large enemies, and then also trying to stagger the smaller enemies so you could get your health and get your ammo back. And you had that kind of flow, and it meant that you were constantly moving, and it was a really interesting way to update early to mid 90s frantic FPS action.
Yeah.
In a way that felt good. Doom 2016 just builds on that. Or, I'm sorry, not Doom 2016. Doom Eternal builds on that. You still have the staggering people and punching them to get your health, but you can also use your chainsaw, which recharges its fuel over time, to take down guys using a chainsaw attack and get your ammo back that way. And if you want to get armor, you can set guys on fire and they'll slowly shed armor while they're on fire. And you have a bunch of different... You can shoot a grenade, and that recharges at a certain rate. And you also have this thing called the blood punch that you can use to blood punch people, which recharges at a different... Like, there's a lot.
Whoa.
The
so
glory
you have,
kills...
like, cooldowns and stuff?
Yes, these all have cooldowns and things, and you're constantly moving around. And it's to off-balance, which some people complained about, that very early on in the game, you have very little ammo. And so you constantly have to be switching between punching people and blood punching people and glory killing them and chainsawing them and freezing them and setting them on fire to replenish your health and your ammo, and then do a little bit of shooting, then get back into this kind of dance of refilling meters. And for me personally, I think it lost a bit of the feel. It started to feel more like a spectacle action game, like a Devil May Cry kind of game, than it did an FPS.
Yeah.
Of like, okay, I need to do... all right, there's that guy over there. I don't have enough of this. I don't have enough chainsaw to take him out this way, but I can do this, and then I'll freeze him, and then he's frozen, I'll go over here, and I'll kill these two guys, and then I'll go back over here, I'll set him on fire, he'll start shedding armor, which means I can do this, I can kill him, get more plasma. Jesus. Like, there's so much to think about and pay attention to.
Yeah,
and
that's crazy. Like, because Doom, I could say without a shadow of a doubt, like Doom 2016, I could jump back into that game without any problem right now.
Yeah.
This game... I don't think I could say the same if I were to, just jump in without any tutorial. I'd probably be completely fucked.
Oh, and there's a lot of upgrades. There's a lot, and granted, you understand them because they introduce them slowly. They almost take like a Rockstar approach of the first 2 hours is just blah blah blah. Oh hey, and now we're introducing armor upgrades, and then play for a little while. And now we're introducing mods, and now those mods can be upgraded. And now you get these crystals, and the crystals can be upgraded. And then you can get these Sentinel batteries, and you bring those back to your base, and they do this. And it's just like every time one of those things pops up, like okay, but I just want to shoot things. Like I want to get back into the thing, and I want to get back into the shooting and the punching, and just keep fighting guys. Because when I think back to Doom 2016, I think of the really well-designed levels that were full of guys, and then sometimes you get caught in those arena-type areas of, here's a large room that there's no reason for it to be laid out this way other than for it to be a fighting arena, and you're going to fight guys in it for a while, and then a door will open and you can keep moving on through the level. Almost like, going back to like Serious Sam type gameplay.
Yeah.
Which is great. That was a lot of fun. But this is just, there's so much going on. And I find it overwhelming. And obviously it's because I'm a scrub, and because I'm shit at games, and because this is baby's first game and I'm playing on one of those Hot Wheels computers.
Yeah, well, your mom did tell me. So.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. That's just my life.
You used the word base earlier, and when I hear base, usually I'm like, oh, cool. But in Doom, I'd be super disappointed if there was like a central hub you had to report back to. Is that the case?
Yeah, I don't know why the hell they did it. Like
Doomslayer's not somebody that goes and like lays in a cot and like unwinds.
No,
like,
you've got a room, and you go there, and you can see where all your collectibles are on the wall.
got a
and
room?
You get a bookcase with books on it, and all the books are funny, and they're references to games and things like that. And you've got, wall with your cool electric guitars on there, and there's a little practice arena you can go fight people in, and you get these batteries, and you take them to different spots, and every 2 batteries you get, you can open a door, and there's another unlock or armor skin you can get in there, and it's awful. Going back to that home base is just stupid and awful. I don't know why they added it. It breaks the flow of the game. Every time I'm in that base, I'm just waiting to leave, because it's not... This isn't a game where I'm looking for fun things to explore and cool. Like, just, I want to get back into... I want to explore the levels that are full of things to shoot.
Well,
so that's...
I'm bummed.
That was disappointing. Like, it just...
In literally every other game, like, that's a good thing. But Doom is, like, the one exception. Like, again, you can't break the flow. Like, the whole game is flow.
Yeah, and
that's what made it special.
And the previous game didn't need to explain how you got from one place to another. Oh, and you just entered a portal to hell, and now you're in hell. And then when you left the portal to hell, you were in a different part of where you started. So that's how you got there. Oh, okay. That's fine, because it's Doom. This game has a lot of cutscenes, and you can skip them.
What did you just say?
I know. But again, this game has a lot of...
Who made this?
This game has a lot of cutscenes, and a lot of moments of people explaining things. Oh, now the demon priest, and his thing, and the Doomslayer's coming. I just want to shoot demons. Please let me and you can skip them. None of them are mandatory. Takes 2 seconds to skip, but it just, again, breaks the flow, reminds you that, like, hey, you're playing a game with a story, and there's characters, and there's character development, and there's a plot, and it's such a contrast to how the first Doom 2016 started, with the Doomslayer punching a screen to stop exposition from happening. Like, that was such a great, here's what this game is going to be about. Who the fuck cares about exposition? You want to go shoot things. And now this game is constantly, better go back to your base.
Walk that back.
Yeah, let's go check this thing out. Get your different armors, get your different armor layouts, get your old classic Doom skin, and go down to the lab and pick up that weapon that you got stored there, because you got enough things to put in there to open up the weapon crate.
Ugh. They learned a lot of bad lessons from the first one, apparently.
They did. There's also a lot more platforming puzzles.
No, don't say that. What is this game? What are you describing to me? I'm mad.
It's still mostly shooting, but they've gotten really into these walls that you latch onto and then climb up and then jump off of. Is a thing that shows up a lot in this game. And I'm only going to gripe about one UI UX thing for this, because it's just they did a great job. But you have these walls that you jump and latch onto, and you can climb up and down them, and then you turn and you jump off, and you use it to traverse vertically. And there's
Nathan Drake?
Like Nathan Drake, yes.
Oh, no.
And
sound cool.
and they're very clearly, because it's a special kind of wall that has like little ledges and pockmarks as you go, and you climb up it, and then you jump off. It's, it's very Tomb Raider reboot.
Yeah.
It's that type of wall, and that's fine, I guess. Whatever.
There's so many games, again, where that's fine, but why I would not want to see that in a Doom game.
No, you wouldn't, because it's not what you do in Doom, and it's not what you're looking for when you buy this game.
Oh.
You have a dash ability. You can mid-air dash, and if you mid-air dash into one of these walls, you just latch onto it automatically, because that's what you'd want to do. But if you just jump at it, you have to press E to latch on. And I've played through the game, and I think I'm very close to the end, and I've not hit a single instance where I would approach one of those walls and not want to latch onto it. So I don't know why it's a button press to do so. Only if you're not dashing. Which, 80% of the time in the game, you have to do a dash to get to it.
Yeah.
So it's that 20% where you don't have to do the dash, and you've forgotten because it's been an hour and a half since you've had to press anything, and you get I die. Oh, great. Okay. All right.
Yeah. That reminds me actually of Jedi Fallen Order real quick. Except in that game it's forgivable because it's a fucking platforming game. But yeah, you'd do the same thing. You'd like run and jump at one of the climbable ledges, but you'd have to, hit a button to latch onto it. Which I thought was annoying, but again, they're just trying to immerse you more into the platforming because it's 50% a platforming game. In Doom, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah, it is. And it's just frustrating when you've already done like the triple jump to get to the bar that you swing on, so you can start another jump loop to do that, and then you hit the thing in midair that allows you to dash 2 more times, so you can get to this area. And you hit that move again of like, what am I playing right now? Because this doesn't feel like Doom anymore. This feels like some other game that's invading Doom.
It's a Dome external.
Yeah, and then you hit the arena sections, and they're great. You run around, you kill stuff, you get overwhelmed by waiting for all of these different things to recharge and balancing them, but that's fine because that's the challenge of the game.
Yeah.
I'm whinging about it a lot because, that's just how I be. But I've put in 24 hours into it. It's a very enjoyable game. It's a very good game.
What does it improve upon from the original Doom? Like, what do you think is better about it? Oh, deafening silence.
So, I was going to say, I think the soundtrack's better, but then I realized I'm only saying that because I've heard that the soundtrack is better, because as I've told you, I turn music off in most games. So, what I heard of the soundtrack was pretty good, but I don't care. So, but I've heard that it's better. It feels bigger. So there are more open environments, like where you're seeing large areas, and so you kind of get these bigger battles and over larger spaces, which is cool. I don't know if that was just a design decision with the 2016 or if that was a limitation of what they were working on. Some of the stuff they added for weapons and weaponry can be kind of cool and can lead to some interesting play styles, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily an improvement. It's just different. Still good, just different. I honestly, they haven't, in my opinion. It is all of the things that it's doing well are, in my mind, doing it as well as Doom 2016 did, and all the places where it falters are places where it differed from Doom 2016.
Yeah, while completely losing the spirit of Doom along the way.
And I know that I'm in the minority because it is a, very well-regarded game. It has great reviews. It did very well on initial release and sales. I think its Steam rating is overwhelmingly positive. It's got 9s and 10s across the board from IGN, from Game Informer. Like,
I think that does speak to like what the core game is, but that doesn't mean it's not disappointing. Like, they made such a solid, like, the not original, goddammit, 2016 Doom is near perfect. Like,
yeah.
It's just an incredible experience. So, of course, like, it's easy to step back. Like, you see ways that you think you can improve, but, you go about it the wrong way. Like, a central hub, exposition, like, I don't need to be told the Doomslayer's cool. I'm literally killing thousands of demons.
And that's something that I think they did a really good job with the character of the Doomslayer in 2016, was he's just a really cool guy, and you can tell that from his actions, from the little ways that he interacts with things. Yeah. That you get a feeling of personality. And this, I think they saw that people liked that slight cute moment when you'd find a collectible Doom guy in Doom 2016, and he'd kind of give it that little squeeze, like he was delighted by it. And they kind of leaned into that a bit too much for my, it was just a cute little thing that happened. I didn't think that needed to be a big defining characteristic of him.
Yeah.
But now his room has electric guitars on the wall, and it's got his wall of collectible toys. It's... The Doomslayer is very twee now.
God. So... The grappling hook thing, I think, was one of the first mechanics they had sort of shown off. when they announced the game. Everything after that sort of made me a little bit more leery of what they were adding to the game. Like, I wasn't that interested in all the melee weapons. Like, the sword seemed to be a big marketing thing. But the grappling hook seemed like it could actually add a lot to the flow of combat. Did it?
There are moments where it ends up being really cool. It never takes away, and it never feels like it's a forced thing. But there are moments of being able to grappling hook pull yourself to someone and then do the glory kill on them, or grappling hook onto something flying in the air to pull yourself out of a situation is really neat.
Okay.
The one downside with it, which is kind of frustrating, is that it's not an offhand ability. To my knowledge, it is something that you have to have the super shotgun equipped to use. And it's the alt fire of the super shotgun. And you can't...
Okay.
It's a pain in the ass to pull out weapons if you don't have ammo for them.
Right.
Even though the grappling hook,
that's kind of a
presumably,
bummer.
is something that doesn't require ammunition.
Yeah. It sounds smart, but then when you say it in that context, like, oh, I could easily not have ammo, I can see why you would only want a shotgun to have a grappling hook, because that's literally just an arbitrary method of getting you in someone's face so you can shoot them in the face. But in the context of Doom, that's great. Awesome. But yeah, if you want to be, slingshotting around and grappling into someone's forehead and you don't have ammo, that sounds like a super bummer.
One of the other things that this game suffers from, and it's not unique to Doom, and I can actually only think of one game that's ever properly solved this, is you've got weapons that share ammo pools. And
heavy ammo, light ammo, that sort of thing.
Yeah, like plasma, shotgun rounds, machine gun rounds. Almost every weapon, every weapon pool is shared by at least two weapons. And you can have the regular shotgun and the super shotgun on you at the same time. And it's not... There's no way that I've found to configure things. So, like, I'm going to go back a ways here to Unreal Tournament. Unreal Tournament had an option in the options menu where you configured the hierarchy of all weapons in the game. So you could configure, if I have the flat cannon, do not ever switch me to anything else if I pick it up. Whereas if I have the minigun, only switch me to the flat cannon or the rocket launcher if I pick those up. But otherwise, leave me at the minigun. And when I run out of minigun ammo, go to the next thing down, which I've got configured to be the bio rifle. And so that was fully configurable so that you would never be using... You'd never run out of ammo with one gun and then switch to the inferior of the two weapons that share a weapon pool. And I've only ever played the Unreal Tournament that had that configuration of...
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, it made perfect sense, especially in a multiplayer game like that, where you want to make sure I've got the rocket launcher. Don't ever switch me off this when I'm in the middle of a game, unless I pick up a sniper rifle. Then you can switch me.
Yeah, I don't want to have to diddle around with fucking micromanaging like weapon loadouts.
Right, and especially with a game that and Doom is the same way. Or I'm saying Doom is not this way, but in a game like a match-based multiplayer game where you're constantly picking up weapons for the first time. So there is that question of, like, do you want to switch to this or not? Doom has the opposite problem where, because it has an artificially, decreased ammo pool for an ammo count for everything, you're constantly running out of ammo. And with no way to configure what you go to next, it's kind of a pain in the ass to, like, run out of plasma and, oh, wait, I'm on the weak shotgun now. Okay, wait. All right, and on PC, weapon wheels are garbage. So it's, okay, hit 5, 6. What's the super... minigun is 7. Whereas if I could just configure that and say, okay, when I, here's the hierarchy. When I run out of plasma, switch to the super shotgun, then switch to the mini, that order. I found myself in a lot of battles just running away trying to switch to the weapon that I wanted to actually be using right now. Minor gripe, but it's just something that I thought about and remembered that only one game I've ever played solved this correctly.
Well, I mean, we can always learn from our elders.
Yeah.
In this case. old ass video games.
Yeah, it's not like Epic's going to be making a new Unreal Tournament anytime soon. So,
what is happening? You know what? I don't want to know. I know they announced a new Unreal game, but I don't know.
So that's my takes on Doom Eternal. Solid B. It's a good game, a lot of fun. I haven't beaten it yet. I'm very close. I'm gonna finish it out. But in 2 years' time, if I feel like playing Doom, I'm probably gonna install 2016 and play that again.
Yeah. And finishing a Doom game won't really. I probably won't add to it because it's never really been about boss fights all that much.
No,
I hear there's annoying mini bosses in this game.
Are you talking about the Marauders?
The guy that puts up like a shield or something. I've heard a lot of people griping about that.
Yeah, I heard about him. The Marauders is one that was memed to hell for a while as being extremely difficult. Yeah, there's some irritating mini bosses, and there's some difficult mini boss and boss fights, but they're all within the realm of, I'd say they're within the margins of error of fun of a Doom game.
Okay. Yeah, well, B minus B plus, still pretty good game.
Yeah.
It definitely was a lot of griping, but it's also in the context of playing a near perfect game and having to compare it to that.
Exactly. And if this had been what Doom 2016 was, like if they had released this, it's only with that context that I can see the steps down for me.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Shall we rank these bad boys?
Yeah, let's. I'm gonna put Doom as my number 2 right now.
Number 2, between Murder by Numbers and Elderborn.
Yes, sir.
I'm also gonna put Totally Reliable Delivery Service as my number 2, beating out Bleeding Edge somehow.
Poor Ninja Theory.
I was thinking about it and I was like, I didn't like either of these games. How do I qualify which one's better? And I remember liking Totally Reliable Delivery Service for like 2 or 3 moments. And in Bleeding Edge, I only remember 1 moment. So that's how I'm qualifying.
That's harsh.
So, yeah. Well, make a better arena shooter / melee game. It wasn't even a melee game. The shooting, listen to episode 27 if you're curious about my full take on Bleeding Edge. Still clearly not over that game.
And if you do listen to episode 27 and have thoughts about Bleeding Edge, catch us on Twitter at our Twitter handle. Also check out our other handles on other social media networks. You know them. Game Off Podcast, that's what it is. Game Off Podcast on Twitter. Check us out there.
Yeah. Where can they find you at all the things?
Nearby, lurking in the shadows, just around the corner, just around the river bend. I'm always be there. Solid Talker on Twitter.
The Babadook.
Just like him, hanging out in your ceiling, watching you sleep, playing Tetris.
Well, you gotta keep busy.
Yeah. How about you? Where you at?
Arcadia. ARKEYDIA. Untraditional spelling, but I'm a untraditional guy. God damn it, I fell into my own trap. Alright. Kill the episode, Andy.
Thanks for listening and sticking with us, watching, writing in all your comments and tweets and everything. They keep us going. Thanks for all the support on Patreon. Thanks for going to our Ask FM. Love all the likes and listens on Last FM. That's been great.
Is that still up?
Thank you for signing our BraveNet guest book on our website and posting on our live journal. That's been really good.
Andy's the oldest 15-year-old you'll ever meet.
I've got a lot of really choice quotes from you guys in my profile right now in my away message. So, it's been great. It's been great interfacing with all you guys out there.
Just sick ripping George Bush.
Yeah. The first one, though.
God.
Catch us next time on Game Off Podcast.
Bye-bye.